ding 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 ding. I know that is not a phone song. But being that we're getting to the close of our first season, I find myself running out of phone related songs.
It's funny. I didn't even hear anything you just said.
What?
I think I'm trying a new setup. I'm trying to use a holder to hold
Okay.
my phone so that my volume doesn't like go in and out with my, if I hold it in my hands and, I'm pretty expressive. So, excuse me, I had it in the holder. And I think what happened was the side of it was pressing the volume button. So if you saying to me,
I did.
So can you do it again?
No, at least our friends heard it. Hi, friends. I'm
Hi,
sure
friends.
they'll be impressed. What I was saying was, but I guess I will because you'll have to know my reason behind it. I was like, ring ding dong, ring ding 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 dong, and so I was saying like I know that's not a phone song, but I'm running out of material as
I
we
was going to
get
say, is that
close.
I was just about to ask you that. Is that like from what? Is that from a song?
Yeah, Dr. Dre, I believe.
I think. Well, I
keep their heads ringing. Ring ding dong, ring ding 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 dong.
It sounds like a jingle almost, and I do know that, but I think that he sampled that for some reason.
And possibly, I'm not going to argue on something I don't know, but like I said, I was just trying to get something close to a phone sound
That's a phone
bite
song. Ring.
I don't
You're
think so.
ringing a ding in the phone.
Well, I think ring ding dong though is more like a doorbell to me, like when I think of it. But like I said,
we got it.
We'll have new material when our second season rolls around. But what's going on, buddy?
Not much, Don. It feels like it's been a long time since I've talked to you. I feel like a lot has gone on since we've spoken.
No, it really has. And I agree. There has been a stretch of time since we've talked. So yes, there's all kinds of material for us to discuss. And what was that?
I'm on a roller coaster. Didn't it sound like the chain links of a roller coaster?
It sounded like you was angry texting just now.
That was me securing my device.
Oh, okay. Are you secure now?
I'm secure.
Okay.
I'm secure.
Are you secure? But no, there's so much since the last time that we spoke. So much has happened in between that time, just like in the news and etc. So we definitely got to jump in on that and provide our thoughts and our feedback and things of such nature.
So what kind of things are you talking? What?
I said yes. You agree?
I agree. I was saying whatever are you talking about? Things going on in the news world and such.
Well, like one thing, for instance,
I'm being
was
facetious. I'm being very facetious.
You heifer, I can't. I'm about to hang up on you. No, but before we get started in the news, and so you poured you up a libation, a beverage, a drink.
I've got yes, it's a sparkling absolute drink, so it's a vodka drink, which is what my choice is typically, but this is canned, so it's a sparkling absolute, but it's vodka and cran pineapple.
Where'd you find that at? That sounds good.
At the store.
All right. I see we're being very detailed today.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't buy it.
Okay.
My daughter bought it.
Oh, so you're stealing people's drinks. I got you.
I'm not exactly sure which store she bought it at, but I mean, she didn't go to any place special to get it, but it's just like all of these other, how they're canning all of these drinks. Like you have the canned moonshine and the canned
Listen, you know what we
this and
just
that.
seen?
What?
We were at Meyer, and my husband, it caught his eye, because he's an energy drink person. Not all the time, but he does. Like, he likes his Red Bulls and stuff, right? They now have a like a hard Monster drink.
That sounds
Hard. I feel
unhealthy
like
in multiple ways.
yes, yes. It was a Monster tea that was like spiked. It was like 9%, I believe. But I'm like, who? That's like like I said, a bad combination. I don't know. That
I
sounds
feel
like it
like
would be too much.
I feel like monsters already are a little. They're questionable.
Right.
I feel like they put I don't know what goes in those drinks, and then to make it to add alcohol and make it taste okay. I feel like they got to do some bamboozling in there.
So maybe sometime soon we'll have a review on it because, like I said, it caught my husband's eye and he was interested in trying it because as soon as he seen that it said Monster, he's like, oh yeah, I'd like to try that sometime. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it would mess with my heart. I
That's what I'm thinking. Well, a common drink a lot of people do is Red Bull and vodka. I don't know if that's
right.
common anymore, but I think for a minute it was like a way back. I think it was like a kind of a new combo to take um, Red Bull and mix it with vodka. That to me, I feel like Red Bull tastes like what I
Medicine
imagine lighter fluid would,
with a hint of cherry.
with a hint of. I mean, it gives you wings, so obviously, it must light you up and make you fly. I don't know, but
Beth, you know what that reminds me of, right?
what?
Remember that time we did that Zumba event, and then after the Zumba event, we
Oh
went
my
out
goodness!
and I don't know if you had it too, but I had a drink called the Flatliner. And I had this drink and it was Red Bull, I think maybe Jägermeister, which is like such a 90s,
Already,
early
right there,
2000s.
wrong and
Right.
wrong of
Right.
all the
It was
levels.
it was this Red Bull and like Jägermeister and something else. And all I know is I had never had a Red Bull before that experience. So it took full effect in my system to where it was an out of body experience. When I tell you, and it wasn't a full drink, I think it might have been a shot or something, but when I took that drink, I was bouncing off the walls so much. I seen myself bouncing off the walls. It looked like I was standing back watching my body just take off on its own, bouncing off the wall. I was bouncing off the wall so much that I was sweating profusely that my kneecaps were sweating. A friend of ours,
I remember. That's what I remember is looking back at you, and
yes,
I did you have jeans on?
yes.
And I remember seeing these wet marks around your knees, and I'm like, what in the world is going on here?
And you
Why?
asked if you were like, did you fall? And I said no. And you're like, well, why are your kneecaps wet? Because no one before that time had seen someone's kneecaps sweat. But it was true. Like in the jeans that I had on, like if anything else was wet, you would have seen it, right? So the fact that I just had these huge circles in the knee area and
That's
nowhere
it, because your
else.
everything else was dry, but I looked down and I
Exactly.
saw these. It looked like you had been kneeling. Maybe you were praying in a puddle. I don't know what had happened. I'd never seen it before. I'm like, what's going on here?
And so when you
Are you
said that,
okay?
and everybody looked, and it was a lot of like Zumba instructors, and one of
Yeah.
our friends, Veronica, had seen it, and she fell to the ground laughing because she's like, I've never seen anyone's kneecap sweat. And from that, it was like, so when I think of Red Bull, when I think of energy drinks, I think of that time and the fact that this energy drink had me going so hard that my kneecaps.
You needed that before the Zumba event, not after.
Exactly, exactly. But I will say this. So like Red Bull, the original flavor is not my favorite, but just like everything else, Red Bull has now different flavors, different limited or special editions, like sometimes seasonal stuff. So a they have a Red Bull. It's like a peach apricot flavor that I really like. like I said, I rarely, I mean, once in a blue moon will have a Red Bull, but they do have that flavor that I like, and they have a watermelon one that's really good too. That does not, these flavors that they come out with, or and sometimes that are seasonal or limited editions, don't have that like lighter fluid with a hint of cherry flavor. Like they have some decent flavors out. So,
I just didn't like the color of the Red Bull. I mean,
oh yeah, that too.
I'm like, what is this? Like, what? I
It
didn't
look
so all.
well, it
It
looked
was
like
like
urine,
yeah.
like urine
I'm
color.
like, what am I drink? It looked like that. It had a weird scent, and then tasted. I'm like, I don't. Why would anybody agree to drink this?
And
When they
people
were in the
do.
testing stages of it, did they like that was their final outcome? And they're like,
Right.
yep, we're good with this.
They came from research and development, like, yep, they gave it a thumbs up.
I would have been like, go back to the drawing board. Um, and may I ask, what exactly is Jägermeister? Like, what is that?
Girl, don't give me
Like,
the
what
lion.
kind of
It is,
alcohol is that?
well, I do have my handy dandy tablet with me today,
Dawn.
this
Okay,
time.
I see. Hold on. I'm just gonna say this real quick. I wish you could see what I'm seeing right now.
Uh-oh,
I'm
what is it?
I am looking up at the sky, and I am looking at what looks like two airplanes about to collide. Now, okay, they just missed each other, but these I have you ever seen two? You know when you see an airplane and you see the white smoke behind it or the white
Yeah.
whatever it is behind it? I literally am looking at two of. I've never seen two airplanes in the sky looking up at the same time. Like when I'm looking up at in the sky, seeing two of those at the same time. But not only am I seeing two, I'm seeing two, and I swear like they were about to collide.
Oh,
They they
wow.
they missed each other, and you know I'm down here from the car vantage point versus looking up. You know, probably maybe in the sky they were a whole lot further apart than what it appeared to, but down here they look like they were about to hit so much so that when they pass each other, their two white tails like combined. You know what I mean? Like the tail of whatever it is that tails behind them. Is it smoke? Is it whatever that is? What is that? Who knows?
Something that's, yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
smoke.
whatever it is, gas.
Whatever
I don't
that's like
know.
they're cutting through the clouds or
Yeah,
something. I don't know.
but the two white, they it combined. That's how close they were. That like when the one passed the other, like the trail of the one combined with the trail of the other, and it turned into one. Okay, I'm sorry, that was off topic, but I'm watching this, and I'm like, I'm gonna say something out loud just in case
Right.
something
It was
happens
documented.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right, I'm documenting that I saw it. Okay, carry on. I'm sorry. What is
But
Jaeger?
you asked about Jägermeister, so I just looked it up. Like I said, I have my handy dandy tablet, so that we have some facts and some truth behind some of the things that we're going to be talking about, because sometimes we come out the side of our neck. But Jägermeister is a German digestif. I don't know. Okay, but it says it's made with 56 herbs and spices, and it's of course an
Wait a second.
alcohol.
That don't sound like alcohol.
Well, so when I looked up, so it said that it was a digestif, right? Um, it said, there's a pair. How do you say it? I don't know how to say stuff.
Aperitif.
Aperitif, and a digestif. Aperitif is served before a meal, and a digestif is after a meal. So I guess it's a liqueur that like you would typically in Germany would be served after a meal.
Does it ever say that it's a liqueur or a liquor ever in any of that?
Let's see here. It says, okay, it talks about, yep, no, It says, yeah, it calls it a liqueur with an unpronounceable name.
That's what it says?
Yeah, but like one of the, like how it's described, it says like, in a New York magazine, it was described as a liqueur with an unpronounceable name drunk by older blue collar Germans as an after dinner digestive aid.
So it's supposed to aid in digestion?
That's what it says. So if you out there drinking Jägermeister after a meal, you're doing something right. But yeah, that's
Yikes.
well.
So
Listen, if it's made with 56 herbs and spices, that sounds about right. You know what I mean? As far as like to break down a meal, say in German cuisine can sometimes be heavy. They got the meats and the potatoes and things like that. So that makes that makes sense.
Okay.
I don't know, but like I said,
Yeah.
it was that
You
mixed
mixing
with some
that
Red
and Red
Bull.
Bull, that right there sounds like
Mm-mm.
it's going to cause a fire in your stomach to me.
Yes, there was definitely some conflict
For sure.
in my guts. Uh, but so yeah, but I'm of course right
Oh, I'm
now
sorry.
because
Yeah, I didn't
it's
even ask you what do you have your drink of choice?
yes, because right now my new thing gonna be for a minute is a blackberry Crown Royal and lemonade. Now, what I will say is because last time I talked about it, I was seeing how good it is with lemonade. I do feel like it is. I don't know if necessarily brand specific, but the type of lemonade. So before I mixed it with either Simply Lemonade or even the Aldi brand, Aldi, whatever Aldi's
Mm-hmm.
brand that's similar to the Simply Lemonade. I noticed it has a different kind of taste if you mix it. I ran out of both of those, and my husband had picked up some Minute Maid lemonade in the like the
Yeah, in the bottle, the 2 liter
in the
bottle.
yeah, the 2 liter. I was about to say, I kept wanting to say gallon. That's why I was stumbling. In the 2 liter bottle, and it totally different taste. It's not as
Be-
smooth.
because to me, that lemonade, if the fact that that lemonade is sold not refrigerated and it's on the
Right.
same, it's on the same shelf with all of the pop,
Right.
it makes me think of more of it's like a lemon drink than a lemonade. And so it probably is
Exactly.
going to give it a different flavor, like unlike fresh lemonade.
And that's exactly what it is. Like I said, now it's so weird because when I first poured it and stirred it, it tasted a little bitter. I don't know if because the ice melted down a little bit, it tastes much better right now. So if you use Minute Maid lemonade, allow your ice to melt, let it dilute a little, because now, like I said, it's getting it kind of to that level of where it would be if you use Simply Lemonade or the Aldi's brand. But
Maybe
Minute
because that
Maid,
Minute Maid is kind of concentraty, you know what I mean? And so then
yes,
allowing the ice to melt it down, it makes it a little bit thinner and has more of a fresh lemonade, consistency and taste
I think
once.
that's like for real. I think that's what it is because it's so much better right now. And I had let my drink sit for a minute. So I guess that's the trick to it. You can't just once you mix it and stuff, drink it right offhand. Let it set for a second. Let your ice melt and get cold, and you're good to go. But okay, now after your facetious comment of "Well, what's happening in the news? I don't know what you're talking about." Anyway, Heffa, you know what I'm talking about. What we gonna talk about?
Well, there's actually been a lot, and this is going back. Like I said, it's a couple of things have happened since we've spoken. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is old news now. But we we never even talked about the whole Princess Kate thing. So
What's the
that's
Princess
happened.
Kate thing? Oh, yes. Go ahead. I vaguely remember.
There was so much talk about where is she, what's going on. She hasn't been seen. She was apparently sick, and um, people were saying they haven't seen her. They were wondering where she was at. I mean, people. It was like a fervor out there of people, like demanding to see Princess Kate. They didn't like the fact that someone said that I think they initially had said that she had been sick and she had some stomach issues, and so she had a stomach surgery, and they tried to use that to
Downplay.
suffice and to calm the crowd, saying like, no, this is just that she was in surgery. She was in the hospital. She had a surgery. That wasn't enough for the people. They demanded to see her. So then they um, put out this photograph that apparently was horribly photoshopped, and the sleuths came out, and that wasn't good enough. So it even, it made it even worse because they're like, why are they putting
Right.
out this fake picture of her, or this Photoshop picture? We demand to see Kate. Where is she at? And then the whole, I mean, they scared the girl out of hiding, basically not hiding, but basically
Yeah.
forcing her hand to tell everybody that she had cancer. And then
Oh,
now
wow.
everybody wants to rewind. That
Give
wasn't
her
a good
her
rewind.
privacy. Let
That
her
wasn't a right.
rest.
That wasn't a good rewind sound. But now they want to take back all of the we demand. I mean, and and I have to issue apologies because they were so insensitive before, and now it turns out the poor lady is battling some type of stomach cancer. So that was one thing, but we never even addressed that. And then,
And and when I said that sounds familiar, I thought it was us, but really what it was, our our buddy, my coworker buddy, had brought it up in the office. That's why I was familiar with it, because she was like, "Oh my gosh, did you just?" She's like, "I just seen there was like a breaking news thing that um Princess Kate was dealing with what you said, the cancer and stuff, and that they didn't really go into detail. It was just they issued the statement and was like kind of leave it alone type of deal."
so let me ask you this then. As a celebrity, and to be honest, that the celebrity over there, as far as being part of the royal family over in England, is a different type of celebrity than kind of what we might think of as a celebrity. But
Mm-hmm.
how much do you think that they owe the public? Like, how much do they
Listen,
owe
I'm glad you said
as
that
far when it
because
comes to like telling their
yes,
business or telling what's going on? What do you think is appropriate versus not?
I'm glad you asked that. And the reason being is when you were talking about this story, it put me in mind. And the first thing I thought was when you were saying how like people are like we demand to see her and stuff. People are so entitled on these quote unquote celebrities' lives. And I say that because when that young star, I can't remember if it was Hallie or Chloe Bailey, whichever one of the sisters was pregnant, she kept her pregnancy under wraps, even though people were speculating, even though at times people thought she was showing a baby bump, she didn't speak on it. It was her thing. And of course, she was pregnant when she had the baby. Then she wanted to talk about it. But people felt so like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she. And it's like, it lines up with the question that you asked. I felt like, who are you to feel like you should know what's going on in a celebrity's life? A celebrity, whether, and like you said, a celebrity, where I say that towards actors and musicians, but in the case of like over in England and stuff, I mean that's actual royalty. But still, they say in the field of musicians and actors, right? That celebrity status, their only job is to entertain you. You know what I mean? So to feel so, again, for the lack of a better word, entitled, or that this information should be shared with the public, I'm like, that's not none of our business. If we never knew, so with this present topic of Princess Kate, if we never knew that she had, well, it was dealing with this cancer and everything, like, okay, oh well, that's not our bit. Like, we as a public are not necessarily entitled to be privy to that. That's something between her and her family, her, you know what I mean, whoever is in that lineup. So it, even if, say, for the unfortunate event she passed away, right, and we came to learn afterwards it was because of cancer, so be it, in the sense of that still it wasn't none of our business. Even if they wanted to share it at that time, okay, that's their choice, but I don't feel like it's necessary to speak on that. If she wasn't a princess, right, if she was just an everyday normal person, you wouldn't care. So why is it just because, oh, it is Princess Kate or any other celebrity of any kind of status, do you want to care? Your next door neighbor could be dealing with the same thing. Are you knocking on the, we demand to see Bill come out? We ain't seen Bill mow his lawn in 3 weeks. What's going, you know what I mean? So I think sometimes we just, well, the general public can overstep that boundary of feeling the need to know everything that's going on. That's just my thought.
I think when we got to the point of where we feel like we need to know so much about everybody, I think the only thing I
Right.
can think of is that like um exposure that celebrities have now and that we have to them, people begin to feel like they know these celebrities for real.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of feel like then like that's my friend, or I know that person, or I know everything about them. So then they feel like they are entitled that way, like they would if you were their friend and you had something going on with you and you didn't tell them, they feel a little bit slighted when you don't share everything. The another thing I think of too, I think that has kind of got us to this point, and I tell this to my girls all the time. When we were growing up, or when I was growing up, I don't want to speak for you, but when I was growing up, the only times you saw celebrities was if you got a magazine, like the
Mm-hmm.
17 magazine, or
Right.
back in the day they had like, I don't know what they were called, Tiger Beat. I never had the like those teen magazines, okay,
Yeah.
or maybe in People magazine, or things like that. Or you would see them at like award shows. So you would see them once a year if they were singers at like the Grammys or American Music Awards. So those were big deals. Like when those award shows came on, at
Right.
least to my knowledge, I mean, you saw like maybe videos of them, but those were already pre-recorded. So if you wanted to see them live, you had to tune into the music awards show to see your celebrity, your favorite musician or your favorite singer live. Or if you were into movies and television, you had to tune into the Emmy Awards, to the Oscar Awards to see your favorite actor live. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. And so it was like once a year you got to see them. And then you got to kind of see what they were wearing and what they looked like based on photographs in magazines. That's when you saw celebrities. And that was it. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't see them any more than that. But now with the, you know, use of Instagram and TikTok and things like that, and not so much like X or Twitter, but more Instagram and TikTok, these celebrities are a brand and they create their own pages, or they have you know um their
Right.
PR people that create, and so they are and they're constantly promoting themselves. Like back in the day, they were promoting their music, they were promoting a movie or something like that. You might see them on a late night talk show, something of
True.
that nature.
True.
Now you have access to see them every day, and they are posting and putting things out every day because they have to stay relevant and they have to constantly promote themselves. So you're seeing them in their everyday clothes. You're seeing, celebrity women like, get ready with me while I do my makeup. And they're talking to you about their life as they're doing that. You're seeing them at the movie shoot. You're seeing behind the scenes, this and that. We have so much more exposure to them now than we ever had before. Like, and this is kind of going off on a tangent a little bit, but like, I think about all of the products that young girls are using now, like preteens and teenagers and young adults and grown women now have access to like all of these beauty products because they know that their favorite celebrity uses them because they endorse them. And we see what they look like every day and how beautiful they look. And so now you've got the whole like um people getting like plastic surgery and like uh you know
Well, it's
Botox
funny.
and just all, I'm sorry, all of the exposure, because we see them so much. There's the pressure to look like them and have them and contouring and all the makeup and this. We never knew. If you look back at pictures of us in the 80s and in the 90s and in the early 2000s, girl, we look like
Rough.
rough. There was no contouring back then, and you didn't look all like picture perfect. Makeup was kind of like, you know what I mean? You kind of looked okay. It was such a different, and plus it wasn't in HD, and all of this stuff was so different back then.
Well,
Um,
because I feel like you said, with that access to things, this makeup and stuff was being done to the stars, but it was like a secret world.
it
So
was a
now,
secret. It used to be when you would go off for surgery, whether it be like Kate Middleton for a real surgery, or whether you were going off for a facelift or to get some quote unquote work done, you didn't want anybody to know. It was a secret. You wanted to
right,
come back and look like, oh my gosh, she looks wonderful.
right,
What has she been doing? It was a secret. You didn't want anybody to know.
exactly.
Now people are getting so much. This is so off topic. Well, I'll get back to it, I promise. you got so many like bubble butt injections and lip injections and face I mean, like the the fillers in the lips and the fillers in the cheekbones and the so much work done. It's like people are and they openly talk about it. My
Right.
my
They're
point,
ambassadors.
right, right. So I guess my point is we have so much more access to celebrities in a way that we've never had before, that I wonder if all of that access has made some people feel like they have the right to know more about that person, because they basically are like, I see you every day. You
Right.
talk to me every day, whether it be on TikTok, whether it be on Instagram, whether it be on some other, you know, social media
Mm-hmm.
platform. And so people feel so close to these celebrities now and feel like I know everything about them. You know what I
But you
mean?
know, what I say to that, even to that, like you said, when these celebrities are doing that, they bring you inside their home. They bring you on their restaurant trip, their date nights, their birth of their baby, and stuff like that. I, like you had mentioned, but they're doing that to stay relevant, right? You got to stay in the public eye. You want to draw those people in, but at the end of the day, you're still quote unquote working, right? So again, my thing is, and that's not to then taking that into consideration, I will say that's not the general public's fault, because like you said, that's how they're roped in, so to speak. It's like, they feel so close to them because these celebrities are sharing the thing, but they're still sharing what they want to share. That's why I say they're working. Yeah, they're doing it to stay relevant. They're doing, oh, let me bring you inside my home, but then when it comes down to the nitty gritty of things, because a lot of times, and that's where some of these celebrities get caught up, is they're only showing the good sides of things. So then when you do hear these stories about whatever craziness is going on behind closed doors,
Why didn't you share
every
that? But that's what the public wants to
exactly,
know. Why didn't you share that with us? You share all this
exactly,
other stuff. I'm
right,
like your best friend. I feel like I know
exactly.
you like my best friend. Why aren't you
But
sharing all the bad things too? I want to know.
because like I said, the good stuff they're sharing is work. I'm staying in the public eye. Because when they're sharing this stuff, you can't tell me they're not getting paid. They're, by
Well,
sponsors. Yeah, they took you
or
to
by
this.
clicks and by views, because that's all
Yeah.
monetized. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes that again, that boundary line blurry. You know what I mean? Because, oh well, shoot, you didn't show me all this. I didn't see what kind of underwear you like. I didn't see your favorite perfume, and I know what you floss with in the morning, and your favorite coffee to drink for breakfast, and yada yada yada. But that's because they were on the clock. So when they
So
clock out and they dealing with addictions and abuse and everything else that's hidden from the public eye. uh,
so then is that partially then the celebrities doing?
I would say so. I feel like, yeah,
So
I would say so.
it's kind of like six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. So then you have some people who are of the school of thought, well, then that's the price of being a celebrity. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah,
not saying that I agree or disagree with either side. I'm just saying those are
yeah,
some
most definitely.
people's perspectives. And so it's like, so how can you fault the people for you? Now, I don't know specifically about the royal family, and I don't know how much they show, because that's, like I said, a whole different world. But like when
Right.
it comes to celebrity here, you're like, you show me every day. I see you every day. You show me everything. You post every day. And
Well, or
so
you,
now when you
well, it's
don't
the
post,
facade. It's the facade that they're being shown everything. Because again,
absolutely,
you know what
absolutely,
I mean? It's
absolutely.
the
But
they
that's
think they've seen everything, so of
but
course they're
that's the perception they're trying, that's what they're trying, the picture they're trying to paint.
right.
So my thing is, so now don't get mad at me when you show me all of this and acting like it's your true authentic everything, and then when you go missing and you don't say anything, don't get mad at me for now wanting to know, because you created in me the desire to want to know.
You created this monster.
So right, so I mean, I'm just saying,
No, I get it. I get it.
I just
I like
wonder
you
what
said,
the,
when
like,
you ask
where's
me,
the happy medium.
that's my side of it, as far, and maybe because for some, their outlet is following the lives of other people, right?
Yeah,
I feel
for
like
sure.
it's just depends on how you're made. Being that I'm not like that now, don't get me wrong, I love The Rock. If I'll watch him do a workout routine, good for you. But he's all about the health. No, but that's where it kind of ends. Some people dive, so that's where, like, the Beehive and the Swifties and stuff. You have those that get so involved. I feel like a lot of it is past the music and stuff. It's those that do follow
their every move.
every move. So, and that's why they're invested. Because, like you said, it's like a best friend. I know with you guys, with my best friends, if somebody was to talk bad, okay, we got a problem. So I get it in that sense. But at the same time, I know
But
that
that's
that
why I'm
feeling,
like, they don't know you.
right?
And they don't care. They don't care about you for real, for real. I mean, you know, they care about their fans, but I mean, only to
Right.
a certain extent. Only to a
Exactly.
certain
That's
extent.
my thing. Like, the feeling that I have for my best friends will be reciprocated, because guess what? They know me.
Right.
So to be so invested with someone who does not know you, not saying that she doesn't care. Like, if she didn't see you on the side of the street, wouldn't help you out. But just out of if I walked up and said, "Hey, Taylor, do you know Sarah? Sarah who?" Like, you know what I mean? So for them to be so gung ho like that, that's when,
And
like,
willing to lay down, like willing to fight for them, and that person
right,
doesn't know who you are. It
right.
so it's just it's such a weird that's such a weird world. And just, I mean, you know, I feel like celebrities are partially, I mean, I get it. It's the name of the game. It's the name of the business. You need to stay relevant and somewhat, but I feel like I would never want to be a celebrity. Like, not to that extent. You know what I mean?
And you know what? There's some who are infamous for not, like you said, and where I do put the blame, so to speak, on the celebrity themselves, is you choose to do that. You know what I mean? Because there are plenty of celebrities who aren't in the limelight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Who, I mean, you don't know they were key. I feel like Keanu Reeves. He's one who, he's the first one that always comes to mind when I think of something like that. He's not in the limelight like that. Like,
And he seems very down to earth
yes. You know
because
what
he
I mean?
doesn't
I'm
let
trying
that
to think who's
whole
another one that's like, there's celebrities who, their personal lives, as far as like their marriages and things like that, aren't in the limelight all the time. I think of like Denzel Washington. You know what I mean? Like, there's just not he doesn't put himself out there and be that accessible to the public like that, where they said if you are, then that's something that you're choosing to do for whatever reason. So I can see how some of that's created is on the
the
side of the
celebrity.
celebrity, yeah, that chooses
I
to
will
do that.
tell you one thing. I want friends like Jamie Foxx friends, because when that man got sick, a word
Girl,
wasn't leaked about anything about him and what he dealt with. I mean, he
it's
shut
still a mystery.
that down. So I know whoever his friends are, that's the kind of friends you want, because they
Right.
didn't let nothing slip. Not a
At all.
thing.
And he's still, and you know what? It's weird now. There was a lot of speculation when he was going through, it's still known as the health scare, because, like you said, not a only speculation. There's still only speculation. You don't know if it was something with his heart, if he was dealing with whatever. And that's why people's mind was running wild, because, like you said, his camp shut it
Locked it
down.
down.
They they
Down.
they had sightings. I think we think we seen Jamie Foxx at the Starbucks in a hospital gown. Like, it was,
That's what I'm saying. Though, but that's the kind, I mean, to me, those are the kind of friends I want. Because if I say,
right.
listen, don't let it out, it ain't getting
And I
out.
mean, not one thing leaked. Not a like a like a hospital pick. Not a
Nothing.
nothing. That's, yeah. That's deep. That's deep.
So anyway, it's just so that was just one of the things that like transpired, I think, since the last time we spoke. But I mean, um it's just such a that celebrity world is crazy. Speaking of
Mm-hmm.
crazy celebrity world, that then takes us to the next topic. I ain't saying
But I'm saying, who you talking about?
who you say. Who you say?
Did he?
Did he do it?
Did he did it?
What did he do?
Did he did a lot?
what in the ditty is going on?
Diddly doo da day. Did a lot. Yeah. Girl,
I don't
listen.
even like. Right.
When your
Exactly.
houses on the opposite ends of America get raided at the same time. Listen, there are time zones, right? So the fact that this, you know how much planning had to go on to be like, if in LA his house is getting raided at noon, that means in Miami it was getting raided at what time, Beth?
It'd be 3.
Or something like that.
Well, noon plus they're 3 hours. They're 3 hours behind. So would that be 4?
Okay, if you say
Yeah.
so. I don't do math in my head when we
they're
on
3 hours. They're 3 hours behind us, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
so to orchestrate that, to have it go down. I felt when it came out, when it was breaking news, and his house is getting raided, I felt like they had to be tipped off from the inside on both ends to be like, do it now. Like someone gave them the hooty hoo, and they went a running. They had to. There's no other explanation.
You mean that the feds went to running, or Diddy's camp went to running?
No, the feds, like they went a storming. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But not
Yeah.
until they got that signal from both ends, because, like you said, and when they were talking to experts about why this was done this way and da 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 da, the experts were saying, like, there were some lawyers and things like that. Clearly, they wanted to make sure that if say they had did it like one house at a time or whatever the case may be,
He
no
would have had
one
time to
was
run.
right. No one was tipped
Yeah.
off to move evidence or whatever the
Anything.
case may be.
Right.
Right. So they got the hootie hoo from somewhere. There was a, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I feel like there was an informant, a
An inside
housemaid.
job somewhere.
Somebody was like,
Yeah.
okay, it's go time. Because how else would they
Girl.
know?
I don't know.
I guess his houses could have been under surveillance,
Well, I
but
wonder if he got tipped off too. And this is us once again. Like, this is we only
oh,
only know what we know factually that was in
right,
the news. There's a ton of conspiracy theories about everything and the connections between him and everybody and their mama, that
right.
have come out the woodwork now. But factually speaking, I'm wondering if he was tipped off, because how is he at an airport in Miami when all this is going down?
Mm.
And not like, I think he was like at a private airport. Like, so for
I
him,
was just about to say, because he was on his private jet, but wasn't he heading somewhere? And maybe that's why they did it. Like he was, since they knew he was on his. I
way
don't know if
to,
he
I think he
was.
was going to the island somewhere.
Yeah, and so that's what made him make that move.
Maybe I didn't think about it that way. So they knew he wasn't going to be home. So let's go ahead and do this while he's gone.
Right.
Because he's away, there's nothing he can do.
Which again then says, and so say that, so like I said, even though I felt like they were tipped off from the inside, maybe not, maybe they were just watching so hard and he was under such surveillance when they seen, like, oh, he's heading to the airport, oh, he's doing, what I mean, watching his moves, that's when they hit.
Well, especially since he has a place in Miami. But he left, I think, from LA. They wanted
Mm-hmm.
to make sure maybe he didn't stop at his place in Miami. So when they had him, because there's video footage of him at the private airport in Miami, they could hit now his home safely in Miami, his home in LA, his home in New York. He could hit all those spaces and not have to worry about him being at any of them. And
Right.
once they saw, and if did you see the video of him at the airport in Miami?
No.
Dawn, dude, like, I feel like because he is who he is, he's a little bit of a cocky dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's
most
a cocky
definitely.
guy.
Most
It's just that's what
definitely.
I don't think there's a billionaire out there who isn't a little bit cocky.
Right.
This dude was pacing. You have to go back and look the video up. They had
Okay.
like a lit somebody. You could tell it was a like somebody had like a, what do you call those cameras? Like a fish. I don't know those. A camera. They weren't up on top of him. They were further away, and they
Okay.
were projecting, and they were watching him like through trees and bushes kind of, but he was pacing back and forth, back and forth. Like he got to the airport and he had gotten word that the feds had come down, because dude was not on his plane. He was not sitting in his car waiting to get on his plane. He was outside walking back and forth, and he did not look comfortable.
Mm.
He looked on edge, like he was trying to figure out what was what.
Mm. Mm.
And my only thing is, I guess I don't understand when you are doing dirt. To me, you have to it would be such, you must get to a place where you feel, if you've done it for so long, that you feel comfortable enough about it, and that you must feel somewhat untouchable,
Right.
because, and maybe at the level that he was at, because I don't know who he had all around him, but when you're doing dirt, to me, I would always feel uneasy that somebody was going to
Mm-hmm.
find me out. I would always be looking over my shoulder or whatever. And this dude goes on talk shows and does award shows and does whatever, as confident can be. So he had to feel pretty secure in what he was
Untouchable.
doing and untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
So now to see him like this, pacing back and forth, there's been rumors about Diddy for years, maybe not so much all of the trafficking things, but of the way he treated Cassie, and the way he's treated past girlfriends, and his involvement in his ex-wife's death, and his involvement in other death threats, and his involvement in just like being on the down low with other dudes and other rappers and all this. There's been so much speculation and talk about that for years, that that some of it has to be true, because people
Right.
don't make up stuff about stuff, and it doesn't live on for years if there's no kind of truth to it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So allegedly, all this, I'm saying allegedly, allegedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly, right?
Allegedly.
But my point is that, so for him to now finally see that picture of him, and him looking like a little bit worried, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, when he typically doesn't look that way, I'm like, did he think that he could carry on with his alleged actions and never get caught? Is that the price of doing things for so long and not
Most
getting
definitely. I think
caught,
so.
that you
And
think that you're untouchable?
most definitely. And I say that because this is just now 2024, and allegedly all this other stuff that has taken place, like as you said, have been going on for years. So if you feeling like you on a good track record, oh, you know what I mean? Um, and I don't know if it's because of the power, because of I'm sure all of it's a factor, but I'm saying in the sense of, I don't know if he feels like he's just so powerful and people are afraid of him that he's untouchable, or if he feels like he has so much money he can pay off people to be quiet about different situations and things like that. But he felt, again, untouchable. He was that secure in whatever the case may be, whether it be power or money, that he's like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. And I think it really started to, uh, it, again, how I feel is it's started the snowball effect with Cassie. Once that girl opened up, I felt like, what's the word? It was almost like the Achilles tendon kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like she really did hit him where it hurt, and so then all eyes were on him, and they seen like that that weak spot, and it's like hit them with all you got right now. You know what I mean? Because there were other
There are
producers.
other people before her, so I wonder what made, like, did she feel
I feel like, look, they
that
said
she was
if
like, what
she,
do I have to lose?
and I feel like other people seen that if she did it and she still survived, we might got a good chance. Maybe he can't. Like I said, you don't know what he could have possibly said. Threats. on people's
Well,
lives. So they see that Cassie survived. She opened her mouth, but she's still walking around and she got some money.
and
Let's
maybe because enough people had kind of heard about what Cassie had went through. I mean, it
yeah.
was I mean, that's been the talk of the town for who knows how long with him and Cassie. Maybe not to the extent that when she filed her lawsuit and told everything
And gave all the
and gave
details.
all the details, but people knew that there was some kind of abusive relationship, I think, going on there with him and her allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
But um I think if something would have happened to her, it would have even cast the light on him even more.
Right.
Because, but I think about, you remember back in the day when Diddy did Making the Band, and he made
Mm-hmm.
Danity Kane. And for people, I'm sorry if we're speaking, like if some of you guys are listening to this and you're not familiar with some of this stuff, but this is going back like to the 90s and early 2000s stuff. There was a show called Making the Band, and he had picked several people, and it aired on MTV, and he was making a band. Literally, he had picked
For real.
several female. I want to say he did it with some males too. I can't remember
Yep.
now. It's been so long.
No,
But
there was a making a band where he put together a girl group, and there was a making a look, there was actually three of them. There's a making a band where he was putting together a girl group. He did one where it was a guy group. He then even did one. I'm not sure if it was called Making the Band, but the premise was he like had this house full of rappers that were like up and coming that he was trying to. I don't know if they were necessarily trying to make a group, but he was trying to find like the next up and coming rapper. And so but it had the same premise of the making the band with the guys and the girls.
so when he did Danity Kane, and I don't know if you guys, Danity Kane had a couple of really good songs too.
They really
Um,
did.
they were great singers, but there was one girl specific that came out of the group, Aubrey O'Day. Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
her?
Yep.
She was pretty vocal. And she kind of stood out. She was a pretty girl. And for whatever reason, she stood out. Like she was one of the group. She was like one of the more known ones of the group.
Yeah.
And she has talked in the past about some of the things that that they endured as a group under his mentorship.
Management. Yeah.
Yes. And she definitely, if you see her now and listen to her now, you can tell that she has had some um she's been through some things
Yeah.
that, because you can tell that she's, how do I say it without,
Traumatized.
yeah, she's definitely had some trauma in her life, and it's come, I think some of it's come from that, and she's tried to speak about it, but nobody ever really, I don't know if they believed
They
her or didn't
really wrote
believe
her
her.
off. I feel like she was almost put in this category of, as most of them are, the ones that
Crazy.
do, yes,
Yeah.
that speak on things. Oh, that she's just mad because he didn't, put her on or make her Uber, and she was just trying to let it, like, no, he was crazy. He had like these.
Well, we saw him treat them some kind of way sometimes. Like
Oh
the
yeah,
things
most
that he was
definitely.
doing was like, what?
Listen, in one, I don't know if it was for the girls or the guys of the episodes. So there's that choreographer Lori Gibson, I believe it
Yeah,
is,
I remember Lori. Yep.
where he was talking to her crazy, and on the show, like she was basically like, "You're not going to talk to me like that," and it was a whole blow up where I can't remember if she quit or he fired her, but they got into it so bad because the way he was treating her, she's like, you're not going to do that to me." And so like they had their moment on the show. It blew up. Now I think a little later, of course, like some episodes later, I think he may have apologized to her, like, you know, addressed how he was acting. But even seeing how he was so bad. Dave Chappelle even did a skit on him where he acted like he was Diddy, and the skit was like, the Making This Band parody. Dave Chappelle was like Diddy, and he was making these crazy requests from the candidates, he was like, I want you to go to Ethiopia and get me some goat milk with a warm cookie. Like, because that's how he was. He would put on this, like, his expectations were ridiculous, and
Yeah.
so it was so bad. Like I said, even Dave Chappelle made a skit about it. You know what I mean? So it was just like that. But
And they people wanted the fame so badly that they were willing to tolerate that. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. That's
Um,
yeah.
and so now, I mean, I, I don't know. I don't know. And your boy 50 been clowning him.
Hard. 50 Cent has been, but 50 Cent is like that with anybody. Don't let nobody come up in the news as far as in the music industry and let 50 Cent hear about it, because he is going to be, he's such a class clown. I know he cut up in school and he makes me laugh. But he has, yeah, he's definitely had his shared his thoughts on Diddy. He's, like I said, he's done it before in the past. I think with, like, him and Ja Rule didn't get along. If you don't follow, R&B, rap, hip hop, and stuff like that, I can see how this is. It's all Greek to me. But no, you probably heard the name 50 Cent. Like I said, he's almost like a, what's it called, a troll. Like, the people
Yeah.
that, like, are on the internet and they poke at people, talk, make these comments and stuff. 50 Cent is a living troll.
Well, and shoot, I lost my train of thought that quickly. What Cat Williams said, it was all going to come out in 2024.
Listen, and it has been. It has been. Listen, they thought Cat was playing because he had that little brown liquor in his hand on his cup. No, and even with Cat Williams, again, he's cast off as, oh, he crazy, or da da da. He's speaking true, but nobody wants to acknowledge it. Or what I can't stand is when it gets so bad. Finally, then everybody wants to, like, hop on board, or voice their outrage, and it's like, but it was been told to y'all. Nobody wanted to do nothing, but it had been spoken on. So I don't know. That's that. That's
I
that.
I'm not anxious to see. I was going to say I'm anxious to see, but I'm not. I mean, I mean, it's so
It's a
everything is just
revolving door. You know what I
it's
mean? It's
because
just
now they're talking about there's so many conspiracies out there. So you got, you're waiting to see if the Kanye was talking about, well, they're trying to tie Diddy and Jay-Z and now Beyonce, and
yeah,
You got Cuba Gooding Jr. in there, and you got, I mean, there's so many, it's like a lot of stuff going on. And I feel like so now I'm thinking, like, remember the whole rift happened between Kanye and Jay-Z?
yeah.
Maybe Kanye has seen and heard and found out some stuff. We
Because
know that
guess what? Because guess what? He's cast off as one of the creators. Well, now
that's what I'm
he?
saying. Oh, don't, you can't listen to him.
Yeah.
He's crazy. He was saying all this kind of stuff. Remember when right when he had his one time that he got, right before, I think that he went and got put, like, on that, what do you call it? That psychiatric hold before they
Oh
put him
yeah,
in the
yeah.
hospital. He was on the stage and he was talking about, like, Jay-Z, I know you got killers, please don't send them after me, but you didn't even, like, come and check on me after, what that happened with my wife, when all that stuff happened down with Kim and everything,
Mm-hmm.
Kardashian. I'm sorry, you guys, if you are not into entertainment news, and today we're, like, touching on a whole bunch of, like, entertainment stuff.
But
I
listen,
apologize,
you
but
will be now. We gonna
we'll get back to it, our normal buffoonery, shortly. But he was talking all this stuff. I start thinking Kanye, he was, I mean, I feel like he's a sensitive, soul. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so if he's working with Jay-Z, and I really don't think Kanye is like not in that league. You know what I mean? I think that he has his own separately, but maybe not doing what Jay-Z and them are all doing and everything,
Right.
or what Diddy and all that kind of stuff. But people could easily write him off when he was saying stuff about Jay-Z and all that. They're like, oh, Kanye is crazy. But
Right.
maybe he saw, and after all the stuff happened with his mom, and all this stuff he saw, I feel like he's a tortured soul. And maybe he couldn't
Yeah.
handle and deal with all that. And that might be some of the reason that he's the way that he is right now.
That pushed him to the brink and
Yes,
stuff.
because
And
he
it
sees all the
makes
stuff
sense.
going on in the music industry.
Listen, it makes sense only because think about when he first came out. He wasn't doing all this. It wasn't until he got involved with all the industry and things like that that he like turned into this different. I don't know.
Absolutely. I mean, some
Yeah.
of it was his mom's
Well,
death as well, but that compounded probably with everything else. You know what I
right.
mean?
It's and it like speaking on like kind of the same subject. So we're talking about how when all this stuff comes out and comes to the front and people say just like that thing with these Nickelodeon stars. They got a whole documentary,
Oh,
what
did you
Quiet on
watch
the
it,
Set.
Dawn? Did you
I have
watch it?
not watched it, and I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, it's a
But
dark. Yeah.
but just knowing with like even these Nickelodeon stars, what they went through. Like I said, I didn't see it, but I know the gist of it. You know what I mean? I know what it's getting at, and I see clips from times to times just speaking on certain things, but to know that again, this was stuff they play back clips of that one dude, and when I seen him, man, I remember watching like all that and stuff, and when they would have these skits, and like I said, I'm thinking to myself, now this is when I was younger too. This is a kid show. Why is this grown man and like some of these scenes, like you know what I mean? Like if it's supposed to be a skit with young kids, how is it that he's in these skits? You know what I mean? It just seemed a little off. I was like, all right.
Which ones are you
But
talking about specifically?
like the ones where I know he was like in the hot tub with like Amanda Bynes, and Amanda Bynes has poor thing
Yeah.
has went downhill, right? To see him and like she was in a hot tub. Now he fully clothed? Yes.
But still, the
But
premise behind it is totally inappropriate.
yes. And it's just I don't know. There was a lot. Like I said, I'm interested in seeing it, but then I seen one clip. I don't what's the name? I think it might have been the Drake and Josh guy.
Uh-huh.
And I seen the clip where
Oh, when
he
he
was
confessed about it was Drake Bell, and he was assaulted in
and
yeah with
yeah, where
with
he showed up to one of the guys' homes or whatever. He seemed and naturally so, but when he was sharing it, and like I said, the clip I seen, it was cutting different parts and putting it together, but how uncomfortable he was, and like he's like, I don't want to do this, and it's like because you could tell he had probably suppressed a lot of stuff, and like now
like
to bring it out into the
he's
light.
even gotten into trouble as an adult. He was with like some underage, but I'm sure it's such a cycle. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
he was abused when he was younger, and I don't know exactly what he did, but not too long ago he was found he went missing, and they found him in Florida and his walker. I mean, it was like all the stuff that
man.
these people have. Think about, like, remember like the Coreys, like Corey Haim and Corey
Yeah,
Feldman, all that. I mean, just like tortured these young actors and actresses, and
Orlando Brown, man,
oh
Orlando
man,
Brown is
yeah.
messed up.
And I don't even. And the thing is, and all we think about is how they are now, and not even thinking about. Oh, I wonder what made him. But imagine
Yeah, yep.
now going back, dude is messed up, and
And
wondering like. And I'm not trying to be funny, but like even like so you see like your Raven Simone's, and who seem perfectly fine. And I'm not saying that she's not, but she's in I don't want to say she's had an identity crisis, but she kind of is a little
mm-hmm.
has been a little out there a little bit, and she, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just like all these different things. And what was I gonna say too? Back kind of to the Diddy thing, you know, you got Usher, you got Justin
Oof.
Bieber. We know what now Usher has managed to come out of this
Unscathed.
seemingly
Right.
unscathed. Um, but we know he's the one that, kind of mentored Justin Bieber. And we know Justin Bieber did not come out of it unscathed.
Right.
And now they're showing these clips of like Justin Bieber with Diddy and
Mm-hmm.
with Usher as a young boy. And then you got these clips of Usher. I just watched one that they unearthed that was saying that Usher was saying that at one point he stayed with Diddy, and Usher is saying like he was introduced. Diddy introduced him to a hyper sexualized scene that,
Environment.
yes, an environment that he was not, that he had no business being
I kind of remember. I
around.
feel like there, at even one point there was an interview, and I don't know if that was Usher's mom or something, and like they asked him a question, and he was like some of the stuff that he's seen at like
He should he should have never,
14,
yes,
15.
yes, he should have
Yeah.
never seen. And
Yeah.
then more recently he did an interview with Howard Stern, and Howard Stern said, would you ever let your kid stay with Diddy? And he was like, heck no.
Mm,
He would never, you know what I mean? So,
right.
there's probably so much off in the name of like fame and notoriety and being rich. It's like you sell your soul to the devil, basically, to get a little bit of fame and notoriety. And it's just
Just
like,
a
it's,
little bit, and listen, a little bit of fame and notoriety, all for it to just to come back and bite you in the butt again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you
yeah,
had that fame, you soaked it up, you didn't, you living your best life. I'm living my best life, and then to have it all come crashing down just for 15 minutes of fame, so to speak.
yeah.
Even for I say that term even in the sense of Diddy. Even if he got through it for years, got away
30
with
years
it,
of fame, right?
30
Yeah,
years of fame, but still the way it's crashing down on you, that it don't even add up. So it's like
right.
you did it for what? Mm. Next, girl, it's deep. It's deep. Like you said, not to say I'm anxious, but it's still a developing story.
Yes, for
So
sure, for
I'm
sure, for
sure
sure.
this is not the end of it by any
Right.
means. Um,
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
too much keeps getting unearthed and brought to the light. So yeah, this is definitely going to continue. But let me see. So okay, so we got Princess Kate, we got Diddy. Oh, Beth, did you
What?
see the video of the trade ship, cargo ship,
Shut up.
ocean liner that hit the bridge in
Dawn.
Maryland? First of all, you don't know. Again, it's always some conspiracy theories and stuff behind stuff, right? Who was filming? Because I seen in one video and it was dead on, right? Showing, and the video I seen was sped up, so that lets you know it took some time for this to occur. It showed like how the lights went out on the ship twice before coming in contact with the bridge and stuff. Who was up there filming this? Like, I'm wondering, was anybody around trying to call the Coast Guard? That was my first thought when I seen it. How are you up there filming it? Did you, even if you called 911 and try to report it, I'm sure they could
Well,
have
my
called the
thing is, it
Coast
was
Guard.
so dark. How did you know if they're the ones who were filming it? Could they tell that it was going to hit the bridge? Like, how did they know to record it
Exactly. Why
before it
start
hit the
recording?
bridge?
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. How do you know? Like, say, and why are you on a trail or a hike at 1:30 in the morning or whatever the case may be? But you look over and
And
oh, there's
it
a
was that early because I think the
yes,
ship left at 1 and it hit by 1:30.
right. So you walking around as 1:30. There's a ship coasting. Let me start taking a like. Why would you take a video of that? I don't
Right.
know. This is something.
You
And
think
then
something's fishy?
some seems just a little fishy. I don't know why. And then like also too. Now again, this was from the perception of the video that was shown, right? But it just seemed like the way the bridge crumbled.
Dawn, it was like it was made out of paper.
Yes. Like it broke in like so many pieces. It looked like a little kid put together like a
Like,
bad Lego bridge.
I was saying, like dominoes. It was like I flicked my finger at the first domino and all of the dominoes just
I'm
toppled.
like, what kind of construction was that?
You know, I'm already crazy. And I am claustrophobic and every kind of phobic
Oh
that you
Lord.
can possibly think of. I hate bridges. I am
Oh,
surrounded by water in Florida. And
Oh.
lots of times to get to a lot of places, like we have to cross a bridge to get over like an intercoastal, or to get like, what in the world?
Right.
I'm looking for every crack, every crevice when I'm just driving on that was the
Oh,
last thing I needed to see.
right. Listen, because you gonna get a ticket every time you got to go over a bridge. Now, ma'am, why were you doing 85 miles per hour? Have you not
I
seen?
can't. I cannot.
You
And
know what? And
did you see that bridge, Dawn? There was nothing around it. It was literally like
I
it.
know.
It
I
was like
know.
it was on stilts. It looked like it was
Like,
asphalt on stilts, and there was nothing. Like there was nothing.
I thought when
Like
they're built, like there's other like little beams or something.
or
Cause like
structures.
we're
It looked what? Why would you go on that bridge ever? Like
right.
why would you? Why was it
Right.
so like flimsy looking? Why was there not like so much? I can't even
Yes.
like say words.
Yes. And now that like unlocked a new fear because I'm even here in Indiana, we got like little bridges that cross some water. I get a little nervous because I had seen one before. Excuse me, let me back up. I had seen a what's it like a TV program? I don't know, like what to do if, and it was talking about like if your car fell in the water. So I'm in the back, I'm very, very back in a tiny little closet door in my mind. I keep like my weird fears, like my fear about like a elevator opening up and a dead body's gonna be there. That's where these things stay. And so my one weird fear is, okay, if we're driving across the bridge and the car falls in the water, I just always remember like, roll your window down and
Right.
unbuckle your seatbelt. That's
Right.
like, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm on edge a little bit, not horrible, but it's like what anytime we're crossing a bridge over water, that door opens up and those little tips come like we ready. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
now seeing that, it's like that can definitely happen.
Dawn, I traveled a bridge, not now that I mean, not an overpass, but like I literally, when I worked at the lab, I took
Yeah.
a bridge to work every day because I had to cross over the river every day to get to my job.
Mm.
And when I tell you the trepidation that I felt, you know what I mean, going over that bridge, but now
No,
seeing
I
this.
don't. Because what's trepidation mean? Like, what in the world? I'm tired of you. What in the world? The tribulation. What does tribulations got to do with this?
Dawn, you are not going to make me feel bad.
What is the trepidation?
Every,
Emma, who you
you know
talking
what
to?
trepidation is.
Oh, well,
It's
now
just,
that I got my handy
it's just,
dandy
it's just,
tablet,
it's like anxiety, fear. That's all. Trepidation. That's it.
so you couldn't have saved 2 seconds by saying my fear.
But the word
Trepidation.
trepidation just came to top. It came top of mind.
Trepidation.
Trepidation.
Oh my goodness. A feeling or a feeling of fear or agitation about something that may happen. All right. And so
Yeah. See.
the archaic definition is trembling motion. So friends, that's what's we're gonna have in the next season. Season 2, anytime Beth is using her $1,000,000 vocab, that's
That's
gonna be
not
the
a
word of
million
the
dollar
day.
word.
That's gonna be the word of the day that you have to use at some point during the week. We post these podcasts on Sunday, so that means from Monday to Saturday, you have to use Beth's word of the day. Trepidation. How do you even where'd you find to use that in the sentence structure? My
Because it's a
trepidation
fear and
is
it's an anxiety of mine. So I have fear and trepidation crossing that bridge.
oh whatever. Okay. Back to the crossing bridge. But I can
Okay.
understand that though. I can see why. Like but after seeing that video, like no joke, I'm like, new fear unlocked. Like, or I'm gonna be on the lookout, making sure ain't nothing trying to pass. You
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
it's well, so and here, okay, back once again in Florida, there are bridges that we have drawbridges where
Mm,
the bridge has to come up to let
right.
any kind of like sea
Trade
vessel
ship.
go through the trade ship, cargo ship, whatever you want to call it, merchant ship, whatever you call it, um pass through. We've had a couple of deaths on the drawbridges when someone has been walking on the drawbridge and the person in the lookout, like the tower, like the
Yeah.
watchtower, didn't see them and lifted the bridge, and people fell into the water and died because they were crossing. One lady
Why
was
would
on a
you
bike.
share that? Oh, oh my word. Oh,
Sorry.
Beth.
Sorry. I was just like sharing stuff.
Now I have new trepidations.
There you
Good
go.
googly.
Use the word. Look at you. How quickly you assimilated that word into your vocabulary.
Now you're talking about assassination. I don't get what you. That's wild. That is. Whew. Okay, listen. We're way past time, but so
Are we
we
already? Has it been that? We haven't
yes.
talked about nothing fun and lighthearted and uplifting.
I know because we went down the dark alley of Hollywood. But listen, before we do, we still got time to make it back. We're walking back towards the light of the park and the funness and everything else.
The light at the
Has
park.
the yeah, just listen here, trepidational. Um,
The light at the park.
I don't know. Like you think of a park.
What
Park is nice
park?
and I said we walk. Listen, I said we
Okay.
went down the dark alley of Hollywood, but now we're walking towards the light of the park. Like when you think of a park,
Okay.
you think of
Okay. Okay.
a nice area.
Okay.
It's you got the playground. It's nice and beautiful.
Okay.
So listen, did you watch The Way Home?
I started it.
Okay. Okay.
Are you waiting for me to say
Yes.
something?
How did you? What do you mean you just started? Did you just play the credits? Like you haven't seen
No,
an
no, no.
episode?
I'm like into like I'm still on season 1. I'm like episode 7 or 8.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know how
No,
many
that's.
I don't know how many episodes there are in a season, but
I want to
I'm
say maybe 10.
so I'm into season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Oh man.
On spec, like the premise of the show, I like.
Okay.
And I like the scenic views. I like the fact that it's taped in Canada and the like the where they've shot the show at. I can't think of what I'm saying. Where they, film it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love that whole look of everything. And I like the premise of the show, but I feel like there's holes and stuff, and sometimes it doesn't seem. I know it's not real, but it doesn't seem real. Like
What
when
you
I'm watching the show, I
mean?
want it to be believable, and I feel like there's a couple of really big holes in the storyline and stuff, and things that just seem so like it's hard for me to take it seriously, and I want to. Okay.
Okay.
Now that being said, the girl who plays the mom on the show,
Uh-huh.
not the grandmother, but the mother,
Yeah.
she played
Cat.
on Cat. She played on Grey's Anatomy, so I remembered her from there.
Oh,
She
okay.
she does great. Like she does like the way she cries to me, because the whole storyline about her brother missing and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
I she's was so good. Like to me, the way that she reacts and stuff, it's like a natural reaction. It seems like how somebody would normally react. And I
Okay.
like all of the characters.
Okay.
The daughter, she went from being so angsty to being so positive and such a quick like snap of the fingers. That to me was a little bit like that seemed weird, like not like okay. And when I don't understand how I don't understand I don't understand his like he is privy to everything. And I don't understand
Now
how
that comes into season 2.
okay, like
So
how
just hold on.
okay.
Yeah, just
Okay,
hold
how
on.
he knew and how he so I'm confused about
Well,
that.
and
So
plus, where'd you say you're at? Like episode 7?
yeah.
Some of that's answered at the towards the end of the season,
Okay,
which
because they don't bring it up, and I'm like, so I'm just supposed to get on board here with this, and y'all not
right,
explaining nothing.
right.
It
No,
doesn't make sense. Okay,
so
and
it comes
then
out in towards the end of the season. So then, but which leaves it for a good cliffhanger into the second season. Because then
Okay.
again, you're like, what's going on? But
And,
it kind of leads to that. Yeah.
okay, and then I'm trying to, like, I don't know if anybody else is going to watch it based on like, us talking about it, and so I don't want to say too much, but I'm probably about to.
Oh
So,
Lord.
like, I'm at the part when the mom is now privy to everything,
Okay.
and
Oh,
so
okay.
she's doing
Hmm.
her back and forth.
Right.
And when she's trying to change, it's very Back to the Future-esque. You know what I mean? So when she's trying to change what happens in the future by stopping something that happened in the past,
Right.
and
It's frustrating.
because she's not really trying, like, it's like she sees something happening, and I'm like, well, why aren't you closer so you can stop that from happening? Why are you watching from all the way back there? Nobody knows who you are. You know what I mean? So you don't have to,
Right.
I can get hiding from some people because you're supposed to be somebody else. But like right now at this big thing, nobody knows who you are. Sorry, friends, if I'm talking very vaguely because I'm not making any sense. Nobody knows who you are. Why are you like standing so far back and not getting up there? And then all of a sudden you can't find, you've lost this person. Why were you so far away? You were never going to find them. I mean, it's some things like that I'm so aggravated by. I hate when I watch a movie and something so like logical that you would do like in a scary movie, and you're like walking into a dark house, and the first thing, and you continue to walk through the whole entire dark house and you never turn the lights on. That's annoying to me because nobody's gonna walk in a house and looking for somebody who's like, you know looking for anybody and do it in the dark, waiting for something to jump out. The first thing you're gonna do is turn on all the freaking lights because that's what you do normally when you walk into a house. Or like, that somebody's in the house, and so you're not looking behind you, you're walking, backwards,
Right.
looking one way, and everybody in the audience knows that the person's gonna come up from behind because you're not paying any attention. Well, when you're in a house, you're looking every which way, but you're not walking in backwards. That's the kind of stuff that annoys me when I watch movies. Like, make it for real.
Right. I get that. But just keep
So
watching. So you're
I
pretty
will.
far.
So the premise is good. I just, there's some holes in it, and you. So unless you want me, or you're telling me you want me to abandon reality
Oh
and
Lord.
continue watching this show, then fine. It's pretty good.
Ugh. Well, when you end it like that, like,
I mean, the premise is good, but there's some holes in the storylines. They need to tighten it up.
or maybe, like you said, there's still some unanswered things, and so I feel like that's what you will see in the second season. Some of it really does come full circle, and right now the second season, I think the finale airs tonight. I'm waiting for it to stream, but I think where we're at in it tonight is the season finale.
Well, I will probably, so the next time that we podcast, I'll probably be finished with it. So
Okay.
we can maybe choose to discuss it or maybe not if the people think that this is ridiculous and we're talking
No, I think
craziness.
they just have to see it for themselves, and you're not helping too much other than the fact you like the scenery. But
It is
it's
very
a
scenic and beautiful. I want to go. I think I would love to live in Canada if it wasn't for the fact that it got cold there.
oh Lord.
I mean, it gets freezing in Canada, like
Well,
freezing. But other
that's
than that, I think I would move to Canada.
really,
Yeah. Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. About. Hey. Hey. What do
I
they
don't know
say in
if
Cat?
I don't know if we have any Canadian listeners just yet, but I don't know how they
About
would rate your Canadian
Canadian
accent.
accent.
Mm-hmm.
About. Um. Hey. Yeah. So but I think I would. I think that I would like Canada. I've been to Canada, so I think I would like it. And it's a way I would move out of the country in general. You know what I mean?
Really?
I could be talking out the side of my neck, but I think so. I think I could. I think there's other countries that I could like. But Canada to me would be the easiest transition because it's probably the most like the United States.
Right.
So that
Right.
would be my stepping stone, possibly.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Interesting.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Well, listen, I feel like we even covered a few good topics.
Girl, we done went all around the world.
Literally. Um,
Been around the world and yeah. Who sang that? Is that a Diddy song?
he sampled that. I
Is that what
feel
I'm
like
saying?
he.
How did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
How did I? How did we bring it back to that?
I ain't
Huh.
saying.
But I'm saying. But I'm saying.
All right. Well, listen, buddy. I think we listen. We still got some stuff to discuss and
And
always
the
to
next,
elaborate on.
I feel like the next episode's gonna be lighter. We'll bring.
Most
I don't feel like we
definitely.
laughed as much in this episode because we were talking about some deep stuff.
I'd agree.
We
I'd
got all
agree.
philosophical. Not
Right?
not really, but I mean, you know.
Not yeah. We experienced some trepidations that
Yeah.
no, was that not no, I could use that in that
Mm,
one.
yeah.
Stretching. I
Yeah.
was reaching.
Yeah. But we talked seriously about a couple of different things,
Yeah. I
and we
feel yeah,
typically are not very serious.
yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely we'll be back on the we had our little fun moments, but we'll be back on the
Lighter
lighter
tip.
side of things
Mm-hmm.
next
Mm-hmm,
time
mm-hmm.
before we close out our first season.
I can't believe how many episodes. What episode? We're on episode or conversation number
18.
18. Man, that's crazy.
I know, right?
And we
And we
appreciate all the people who have listened and followed and liked and subscribed and shared. We encourage you to
most
continue
definitely,
doing it, please, if you
even for
find
the
this
newer ones,
entertaining.
and if
Mhm.
you're just now joining us, go back and listen to some earlier stuff. It's hilarious. We crack ourselves up. We do it to crack you up as well. So if you've rocked with us up until this point, or even just joining us, keep rocking with us. We're gonna make you smile. We're gonna make you think about some things and Google some stuff because we don't know what we're talking about. So
And feel free to interact. You can interact
most
on
definitely,
Spotify. You can leave comments and feedback on Spotify. You can do it on YouTube, um,
yeah, most
on our
definitely.
Instagram page. So
I was just about to say, definitely on the Instagram page, comment on some of them posts and pictures and stuff. Let us know what you're thinking.
or
We
what you
want to
want us
hear
to,
it.
maybe if there's something in particular that you would like us um to talk on, to speak to.
Right. Let us know. We'll cover it.
We'll
We
cover
ain't
it
gonna
for
know what
sure.
we're talking about, but we got you.
All right, Dawn. Well, it's been fun.
All right, Beth. Well, hey, we're gonna close out another episode of I Ain't Saying.
But I'm saying
We out.
bye.